I remember two songs. I remember This Is My Life by Gasoline, and I remember, of course, Obladi Oblada by the Beatles. But I didn't know, I mean, many, many years later I heard Obladi Oblada and I realized, okay, is this the Beatles? The most outstanding element is actually the freshness of it. What we try to achieve is like putting like the live band into the studio recording. So we decided, this is actually the second album in a row, we try to actually preserve the live sound into the recording, and the first time we tried it out since demo days back in the 90s was with Ritter, and we kind of have perfectionized this time. So the main thing, it sounds really, really organic. It sounds like a band. It sounds dynamic. I think those elements differ a lot from a modern day metal recording. I think this is like more like a 70s recordings. I mean, the energy, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of positive energy, there's a lot of negative energy, there's a lot of... It sounds like we're standing on the stage and it sounds like we're pissed. And that characterizes the album, the sound of the album, I think.
In our living room we had a stereo with a bunch of records. It began with LPs and then it turned out CDs. I just became totally fascinated with the whole concept of just having music in your ears. And I think that pointed out the rest of my sort of career, where I am now, that I became really interested in the different fragments, the different parts of music. I would just love to have it on my ears and sort of pick out mentally the different parts. Listen to the drum parts, the bass part, the guitar parts, vocal parts. And I think that's that whole experience of sitting there listening to and analyzing music and sort of, instead of just thinking this is good entertainment, but having a conscious analysis of what was going on in the sound. That's what made me become a musician.
The first thing I remember of a sound, I mean the sound of music anyway, is of course hit songs. So what I remember from the 70s is probably from my parents having a good party, you know. And my parents weren't like, so, I mean, they were not fan of any bands, you know. They were just like having a good time. So I remember two songs. I remember This Is My Life by Gasoline, and I remember, of course, Obladi Oblada by the Beatles. But I didn't know, I mean, many, many years later I heard Obladi Oblada and I realized, okay, is this the Beatles? I was like, I remember that tune from when I was like, you know, before I could speak, they were listening to this song. King Crimson and the Court of Crimson King, the perfect fusion between rock and jazz at the time being. Everybody hated it.
Dark Throne, Under a Funeral Moon, because it's necro and beautiful.
Another black metal album, Mayhem, the Mysterious Satanas, because it is the best extreme metal release ever made, and it still will be.
Bathory, Hammerhearts, because it's raw, it's authentic sounding, and it's just fucking epic.
Twilight of the Gods, because it's even better than Hammerheart.
Motorhead.
You remember me now, Motorhead?
Another Perfect Day, because it just sounds brilliant.
During the 2 last recordings, it have to be the Moog Taurus pedals and double bass, things to experiment with, because I know what to do otherwise. So this is like the spices, add to it, you know, experimenting. Oh, this is fun. All right, okay, it sounds good. Fine, excellent. And you?
Easy. It's the Roland Space Echo, because anything sounds good with Space Echo. I think our recording philosophy works because it's simple. It's all about recording in the studio is about getting a precise reproduction of how we actually sound. And I think that's why we've achieved such a good sound where we're now. Because after Vertebrae, around the time of Axioma, I think Odini, we realized that going into the studio and producing records was not about refining or changing or doing anything magical. It was all about reproducing what was already happening.
To be honest, I think it sounded pretty cool. I think it sounded amazing. Nothing we're missing, and I have to say, it's stupid to say, but I'm really proud actually. It sounded great.
I knew the album was good, but listening to it on a stereo like this made me realize that it's really good. I did mention to my wife in the bar that this was my wish for my next birthday. She kind of laughed it off because I guess it was too expensive, but I guess if she really loves me, she'll buy the stereo for me.